Hi, it's Amanda from Groovy Babies, and yes, I am back for 2018. Kids started school today, so yeah, back in front of the camera with no distractions, hopefully. And yeah, I've been working non-stop over the Christmas New Year break with all my private clients, which has been fantastic. But I will be going on a little break in March, working overseas, so can't wait for that. But today's video, I've done a little bit longer than a 60-second sleep tip because I was asked earlier, late last week, about how do I tell when my baby's ready to start solids. And I've got a little readiness guide that I always sort of say to my clients, and the first one to always look at is definitely head control. And to make sure your baby's got a really sort of upright head, it's nice and steady, it's not flopping around left, right and center, that they can actually sit quite upright, so they've got the strength in the back of their neck and their spine, and that's really important when you're popping them in like an infant feeding chair or high chair, to be able to swallow properly. So if they're kind of still hunched over, they haven't got the opening down their esophagus to actually to coordinate that swallow reflex. And also the next one to look for is that they've lost what's called the extrusion reflex, or what I call, it's easier to call it like a tongue thrust, where they sort of will do that, part of the way they communicate as well. And that is because the mouth and the tongue have to develop in tune with their digestive system. So they must be able to move the solids to the back of the mouth and then coordinate that swallow, instead of just pushing their food around their mouth with their tongue and then sort of spitting it or pushing it back out again. The other thing I always look at is weight gain. So, normally by about 4 months old, most bubs have doubled their birth weight as well. And the next thing also, is the curiosity of food. Are they really eyeing off your food? Are they reaching for it? Are they opening their mouth? If you put food near there, or a spoon, if you decide to use spoons when you're feeding. And the other thing sort of to consider is what this mum asked me, is that should her first baby food be cereal? And I had a bit of a look around, and no, the evidence out there now is that there's no real advantage to using baby cereal first. So, there's no extra advantages or health foods. And, obviously the guidelines out there now are sort of anywhere between sort of 4 and 6 months. And allergies and all those sorts of things now, they're sort of saying, when a baby has this readiness guide, then just kind of go for it. And do your research, if you decide to do baby-led weaning versus, using purees and spoons and those sorts of things. And the other thing, obviously, is getting ready. What type of equipment do you have? Are you going to be able, what do you need to do if you're out and about on the run, getting ready for solids does take a lot of organisation. A lot of mums prefer not to use, store-bought food. So, getting it ready, organising, defrosting, pureeing. I used to make up big batches of food with the twins. And so I would have ice cubes frozen of all different things. I'd do a big cook up on a day or a big steam up on one day of a week, and then just freeze everything and then bag it all up. So I could just grab a cube from 4 different packages and mix them all together, and so they'd get a really good variety every single day. Next thing is generally, you do start off with once a week, one tablespoon or so a day, and often they just start with a little teaspoon. So don't get too disappointed if they don't take lots of food just to begin with. Remember, their tummies are really, really small. And yeah, often I always sort of say start maybe either breakfast or in the middle of the day, so they do have a reaction to something that's not happening later on in the evening, or they get an upset tummy through the night, which disturbs their sleep, your sleep, as well. And something else I was going to say. Often, you can start with sort of orange foods and apples, and then generally from about, I think it's about 6 months now, 6 to 7 months, you can start with more proteins, but definitely by 8 months starting more proteins as ordered. And especially us first-time mums, you are quite cautious, so sometimes you tend to go a little bit slower rather than faster. But normally they are fully established on solids 3 times a day, generally by about 8-9 months. Definitely 10 months. You know, I had a mum a couple of weeks ago, their baby was still on solids once a day, and the baby was 10 months old and obviously wasn't sleeping that well because he was quite hungry. But yeah, if you've got any questions, feel free to give me a buzz or email me, amanda@groovybabies.com.au.